So, welcome everyone. It is good to see you on this Saturday as we're letting more people in as we go. And every Saturday, we like to do something as a training on Zoom where we are learning maybe some new skills. Maybe we're hearing a story. Maybe we are having one of the corporate people on or one of the top leaders on. And today is an exciting talk because you've heard a lot of people that are coming into Zinzino, maybe from other companies, and their reasoning for that. There's a lot of people coming into Zinzino, and as you can see, the growth is phenomenal. Zinzino is definitely on the upward climb. We have had more titles this last period of time. I think we've never had more president titles than we have right now in Zinzino. And actually, just this last week, we heard one more new president out there, Sven and Audrey Goebel. And so, congratulations to them. And it is continuing. It is continuing so much that there are more and more people being attracted to the company Zinzino. Today's speaker, I heard first time I ever met him was because he was a speaker at the Mastermind event. And he's been a speaker time and time again. In the company that he's been working in, he has been one of the top leaders and income earners there. And here a couple of months ago, I met him again as he came to an event in Minnesota. And I was thinking, I'm wondering what is going on. And he was checking things out. Here to see him also at the annual event in Oslo as he had just got started in Zinzino. To me, it just warms my heart, but it just makes me realize how wow effect Zinzino can have when you really start to get into it. So we're going to hear his journey to Zinzino. So please give a Zinzino welcome to Mr. Jerry Scribner. Hi, Jerry.
Hey, Carla, good afternoon. Thank you very much for inviting me. Just in case any of you are wondering, um, bluegrass music is my passion. I absolutely love it. And typically every weekend, my wife and I are usually Wednesday through Sunday, we're at a bluegrass festival somewhere. We are in Salmon Lake RV Park in Grapeland, Texas. It's really amazing. I'm out in the middle of the piney woods in Texas on a Zoom talking about Zinzino. It just blows me away that I'm able to live this kind of lifestyle where we play music and can still build a business and have a lot of fun. And we've been here since Wednesday. A number of my friends have test kits now and are sending in their test kits because we are on our way to 1 million tests in the United States.
I love that we can talk about where we're going and I can hear your excitement on it. But Jerry, let's kind of dial it back to, when you got started. You just mentioned the lifestyle. You mentioned that because once you start building up that passive income, that's the kind of lifestyle you can get. So tell us a little bit about how you got into the whole profession of direct selling.
Absolutely. I grew up in Midland, Michigan. I lived there 26 years. I've been in the Houston, Texas area for 40. In September, I turned 66. And Monica and I have been married 37 years. We have two daughters. They're 33 and 30. And in 2007, 17 years ago, we were homeschooling. I was a construction worker. I did residential construction. And like many families, we were up to our eyeballs in debt. Credit cards were just eating our lunch. And a dear friend of mine called me. And to this day, Carla, I think this is one of the best approaches I've ever heard in 17 years. He said, now, we have lots of rapport. I really like this man. I trust him dearly. And he simply called me up and said, hey, I think I found a way that we could work together and make some money. And I said, how? And within a week, he used a tool, he used a video. And within a week, April 1 of '07, we launched our network marketing business, direct selling. And really excited. But I tell you, I got involved. We had about 40,000 in credit card debt, and got involved to make $200 to $300 a month, because I thought if I could do that, then somewhere down the road I could get out of credit card debt and relieve all that pressure on our family.
I like that, and I think that's what a lot of people also are starting for. Two, 300, $500 just to actually have a little bit more money at the end of the month to make ends meet. So you got started. Did you have success right away? Um, did you see a bigger picture? Did you start earning some money? Was it difficult? How was your journey in that?
Yes, to all those. So, and remember, guys, uh, somebody said it. I think Carla said it earlier. My journey is not anyone else's journey, so you just can't compare. Um, so I started, and the now this was in '07. We didn't have the internet. I didn't have a cell phone. I had a wall phone, and this guy lived about 60 miles from me, and uh, he told me, he was very clear when he got me in the business. He said, "I am not driving to Houston to help you." Okay, well, there was no Zooms, there was none of this stuff that we have today, and so I'll never forget. I joined on April 1. It was a Saturday. Um, they had he had sent me a little kit on how to get started. And this is so old school, but this is what I did. It said make a list. So that Saturday, I'll never forget, it was raining. Monica and I sat down at our house, and we had about 250 people on a yellow legal pad. Then it said, once you've created your list, categorize them as far as, you know, who you think might want to do the business, who might want to try the services. And then the next step was to make phone calls and set appointments. So I targeted like a top 20 group, and I started making phone calls. And my phone call went like this. Hey, John. Hey, Mary. This is Jerry. Monica and I, our situation, we're drowning in debt, and I'm starting a business from our home to make some extra money to pay off the debt. Uh, I'm meeting some friends over at the coffee shop Monday night at 7. Please join me. Check out what I'm doing. Nothing's for sale. I'll buy you a coffee. And I made about 20 invitations, and 5 showed up. Now, there was one gentleman that I had invited because I was in the services business, and the only service we had at that time was electricity in one state, Texas. Well, this friend of mine was a big time real estate investor. He owned hundreds of properties, and all I could think was, wow, if I could get some of his properties, that would really be a good start. And so I bought them all coffee. Five people showed up. I bought them coffee. I had a laptop. I didn't know how to explain the business. I was too new, and I played a video. When the video was done, my friend Tim put his credit card on the table and said, "Sign me up. I'm in." And I was like, "What? Really, Tim? You're already making a lot of money, really?" He goes, "Jerry, I've never been paid on a public utility before, and I'm in." So it was so funny. As Tim is enrolling on his laptop, my 4 other friends who all knew Tim, we all knew each other. They're sitting there talking amongst themselves, and they said, "Hey, Scribner's a knucklehead, but Tim's not. If Tim's doing this, maybe we should do this." So this is where I want you guys to understand this is not typical. Okay. All 5 ended up joining that night. That
Wow.
is not typical. Okay. So they turned to me when we were done and they said, all right, you're the leader. What do we do next? I didn't know. I was like, I have an idea. Let's all come back to the coffee shop on Wednesday night and everybody bring somebody. Okay. So 2 nights later, uh, I showed up, the five showed up, and we had 8 guests. We bought them coffee. We showed them the video. Some of them became partners. Some of them became customers. Some of them didn't want anything to do with it. For the next 4 weeks, now remember, my sponsor said, I'm not driving to Houston to help you. And to this day, 17 plus years later, he's never done that. He's never done a presentation for me. And he's made quite a bit of money, which is great. I'm thankful that he shared this with me. So for the next 4 weeks in April, we met at that coffee shop on Monday, Wednesday, and Friday. And we had, at the end of that month, from the 5 that I personally enrolled, 45 people on our team. Some people would say that's a pretty good start. I would tell you this again, you can't judge what happened to me with your results. Okay. Some people have had better results, some people have had not as good. From there, that first month, I know we typically don't talk money, but, and again, guys, I didn't know what I was doing. I was new to the profession. We made $3,100. And that was almost what I was earning full time.
Wow.
And we were blown away. I told Monica, this will not last. This was an outlier. We just got lucky, but thank God we had it. And we immediately sent it off. And, what I did, this is a really cool story. I never spent, for the first 9 months, April to the end of the year, every penny I earned went into a savings account. Monica never saw the money in the savings account. So at the end of that year, in December, the week between Christmas and New Year's, the week everybody kind of slows down, and then we're thinking about the new year and our goals and all that. Well, we had a little ritual that we did we had been married 20 years. Well, that we take that week and we just examine everything, our relationship, our faith, our finances, everything, our marriage. And everything was cool in our marriage except for one thing. Anybody have a guess what that one thing might have been? Finances. It was ugly. So at that point in our marriage, Monica paid all our bills. And so we sat down and I asked her, what do we owe on visa number 1? And it was like 14,000 something. And I said, go ahead and write a check. Let's pay it off. And she looked at me and started laughing. She goes, I love you, but I'm not writing a hot check. We don't have that kind of money in the bank. I said, I got it covered. Don't worry about it. Where did you get $14,000? I said, remember that business we started? You made $14,000. Got it covered. She was still reluctant to write the check. She got done with writing the check and I said, what do we owe on visa number 2? And it was 12,000 something. I told you guys it was ugly. But my story is not a whole lot different than a lot of other American families. And I said, let's write a check and pay it off. Then I said, 3 years previously, I had bought her a brand new Nissan Quest 8-passenger soccer mom vehicle for her birthday. She was furious with me. Brand new vehicle, Carla. She was so mad because back in 04, we put up $34,000 in debt, because I thought I was going to be the hero and buy her a new car. She was so mad. What do we owe on the car? Now it's 13,000. Said, let's go ahead and write a check and pay it off. And because of our efforts in 9 months in network marketing, I had earned 40,000. And in one night, we paid off those 3 bills. And outside of our mortgage, we became debt free. If
That's
nothing,
incredible.
isn't that amazing? And it's really funny in our marriage. I'm the one that always wants to keep up with the Joneses, and she's the spendthrift. I mean, she is the Um, she loves secondhand stores and all that kind of stuff, and Goodwill, and I mean it's amazing. And my daughters are the same way. And I always wanted to buy stuff, and you know, and I messed it up, and I made a vow to her, never again. That's not going to happen. And so that first 9 months, we made 40 grand. We got out of debt outside of our mortgage, and it was an amazing feeling. I could breathe again. And then the next 2 years, we did it part time, and we earned over 50,000 a year. I was still working 60 hours a week in construction. We saved every penny. My oldest daughter went to University of Houston, where she got a business degree. We never borrowed a penny. Everything in her college was paid for in cash. When she graduated, there was no student loan debt, and she went to India for 3.5 years as a missionary. And we were able to support her because of our networking income.
So,
Uh,
Jerry, you got all this going on. You've got, you're having success. And we know, I mean, people, if you've heard anything about direct sales, there are a lot of stories like that, and you really can do that. And there's a lot of people who have stories like yours in Zinzino, and direct selling works. We know that. But you've got income coming in, you've got a great company, you're growing, you've got income so from where you're at and all the success there, you actually became one of the top income earners. But what happened? What started to break? I mean, it's not that we want to talk bad about any companies. Of course, we're not going to do that. But what was it that started to change in the company that made you start to have some issues?
Great question. And you're very right, very correct. Uh, the company I was with, it's a great company, changed our life. Um, but 3 years ago, that company was sold to another company. And I felt like we were the redheaded stepchild in that transaction. And so for the last 3 years, um, I continued to build that company, but it's been tough. Uh, and the truth of the matter is, when the company was sold that I had all the success with, 90+% of our team left.
Hmm.
So I
Okay.
started building all over from scratch.
Hmm. So, I mean, you hear about that. I think here in the United States, there's what, 800 different companies, Jerry, and it's like, there's companies that we hear even today that were sold out or stopped uh, doing direct sales. And it can have a risk with it. And then even if you are sold to another company, how is the merge of that? And, you know, Zinzino's actually just bought out three companies here in just this last year. And that whole process, it's not always just a given that it's going to be easy because you want to have the teams merge together. But in your case, when that company was bought out, it wasn't a meeting of the families. It wasn't that feeling that you were welcomed in. And a lot of the team members, then you had to completely start over.
Yeah, it's really funny. I'm gonna back up 17 years. So I had heard of this guy named Art Jonak, and I had been following a guy named Tom Schreider, and I knew that uh, Art's married to Tom's daughter. And so in '07, when I got started, Art and I live 40 miles apart in the Houston area. And I contacted him, or he contacted me, I don't remember. And he said, let's go to lunch. Oh man, a chance to go to lunch with Art Jonak? Are you kidding me? Yes. So we go to lunch, and he tells me this story. And he says, Jerry, I think you're in a great company. I think you're going to do really well with it, but your company has a big problem. I'm 30 days into this business. And I go, what? What does Art Jonak know that I don't know? And he goes, yeah, and you're going to find out about this problem next week. Oh no, Art, what is it? He goes, it's the same exact problem that my company has. They're run by human beings and they're going to make mistakes. And he said, whatever company you're with, just be okay with people making mistakes and go build a big team and and have a great life. And so it was tough on me, Carla, because for 14 years I was with one company. I've only been with one company. Then they get bought out. And you know, and it's not been a good transition. But for those 17 years, uh I I literally talked to Tom Schreider every day. We talked this morning. He's taught me everything about this profession. He didn't do the work, but he taught me what to do and what to say. And I've known Art again for a long time. And I always thought, man, I would love to build something with Art Jonak. Well, then this summer, Art contacts me. He did not try to recruit me. He did want me to take a test. And I said, absolutely, I'll take the test. And, you know, he did his, this is omega 6, this is omega 3. And I got it. It was simple. And it took him a couple minutes. And my results came back 53 to 1.
Whoa.
Yeah. Monica's came back 16 to 1. And I text Art. I said, hey, I'm 53 to 1. He goes, what's your address? And I gave him my address. And a couple days later, in a box came some oil, some xenobiotic, I think it's called, and uh, extend. Is that it? Extend?
Yep, that's the vitamins. You got it.
Okay. And Art said, he didn't try to sell me. He didn't try to recruit me. He said, just immediately start taking this stuff. Okay. So I did. And it was about 30 days later, I had my quarterly checkup with my doctor. I've known my doctor for over 20 years. We're really close friends. And, you know, they do all the lab work. And I get in his office. This is in September of this year. And he opens his computer and he's looking at my results. And this is exactly what he did. He goes, wow, wow. And I go, what's wrong? He goes, nothing's wrong. Look at your numbers compared to 3 months ago. I go, what numbers? Oh, triglyceride, cholesterol, all this stuff. He goes, your numbers are really improved. What are you doing different? And I said, I don't know. And it didn't even dawn on me about the oil. And he said, no, you're doing something different. And then I said, oh, I'm taking this oil every day. What oil? I go, oh, it's some balanced oil from a company called Zinzino out of Norway. He goes, how can I find out about them? He went to the website. He looks at the ingredients of the balanced oil and he goes, oh, this is the best I've ever seen. How do I get this? And does it come in vegan? I don't know. Okay, again, using a tool. So whether I knew it or not, I didn't know it. If they did it in vegan, he on the website he finds it's in vegan. He goes, I want to get this. How do I get it? I said, well, let me see if I can get you a bottle. And I told him about the test, and he said, well, I want to take the test. I want my wife to take the test. Great. So they both took the test. I got them a bottle of vegan oil from Art. I gave it to him, and he's been on it now for 3 or 4 weeks. And I actually see him again this Wednesday. And he said, can I sell this in my office? I don't know. Can you? And he goes, Jerry, everybody should do this test. I said, well, I've known you for over 20 years. can we do this test in the US? And he goes, yes, but it costs about $500. I said, why have we not tested me in the last 20 years? He goes, well, I didn't think you'd want to spend $500. And so now I talked to him yesterday. He said, every one of my patients is going to take the test. And I'm going to do my best to have every patient on that balanced oil. So we're really excited about him becoming a partner and helping us get to 1 million tests.
So Jerry, so you hear about Zinzino, Art's taken your test, you're starting the products, but you were in this other company. What started you to think about switching over then to Zinzino?
Couple things. Number one, um, there's no doubt in my mind, and I've been in the profession over 17 years. I've spoken on many stages. I believe women are the best networkers in the world, far better than men. You get two men together and they go, hey, man, did you watch that game last night? Oh, yeah. No. My wife can sit down with Carla or any of you ladies on this Zoom today, and within 10 minutes, you're talking about childbirth and all this kind of stuff. Is like, golly, their depth of conversation is so huge. They communicate. Men don't. So I've always wanted to build with women, but in the company I was in, it was services, and it just wasn't sexy. And there, most of the top earners were all men. But I knew in our profession, most of the top earners are women, and I've always wanted to build with women. From the day I sat down with Art 17 years ago, I had always thought, I want to be in health and wellness. Who doesn't want to be healthier? Who doesn't want to have better, better health? But Art said, don't you ever leave your company. So when this sale occurred 3 years ago, it wasn't really until January of this year I started thinking, okay, do I just kind of step away from my company and just live on our passive income, or do I do something different? And then this chain of events happened where, Art gave me the test and I go to Oslo and the whole thing.
Oh,
So,
well, hang on. Before you went to Oslo, you came to Minnesota. You were checking some things out.
yes,
What was going through your mind at that time?
again, in Minnesota, I mean, the majority of the room was ladies. And I just started thinking of all the women in my life that I've never been able to get in this other business. And I thought, I wonder if they want to have better health, and I just saw the market was just humongous, not only in the US, but obviously outside of the US. And so, um, I did, I say I did my research. I read everything I could, um, stayed on the oil, stayed on the products that Art had sent me. And, Monica and I discussed it. And I just said, you know what? I'm excited.
Mhm.
I was not excited in January of this year.
So you also had kind of a lucky break because when you were in the process of thinking about it, there came the first convention where it was our Zervita family, and they're on the verge of being Zinzino. So we had our first North American conference with kind of the merging. We called it our wedding because it was the bride and groom family type thing getting together kind of before the wedding. Wedding hasn't quite happened yet there for Zervita family yet, but it's close. And you were coming to that and still checking things out, still had some questions, but yet you were starting to get excited. I met you and Monica, and you could feel your excitement at that time.
Yeah, it was in Houston because before I joined, I kind of test marketed this thing. And I would ask people, hey, how invested are you in your health? Well, I mean, who's gonna say, well, no, I don't care about my health. No,
I
everybody said,
can
"Oh
I
yeah."
can that I hear Tom Schreider coming out. This is Tom's. We should give a plug for Tom Schreider right now because that is exactly the things he would be saying.
Carter, where do you think I got it from? I I'm the best copycat in the world. Honestly, that's how I got through high school. Um,
Well, everybody
and
should be on Tom's calls and he's got that newsletter. We should plug that too because he's got so much incredible information on that and so much free information. And yeah,
yeah,
I could hear him.
BigOutBooks.com. BigOutBooks.com. You can get his newsletter twice a week. It's free. It's well within your budget. And imagine if you learned one thing. So I started testing, talking to people about health. And I like to track numbers. And when I had hit 40 people I had mentioned it to about the test, one person said they didn't want to take the test. 39 said they did. And I was like, wow, we got something here. So then we go to Oslo, and uh, I think in my 17 years, again, I've been a top performer. Um, it was the best conference I've ever been to. It was absolutely incredible. Um, and to see you get the big award, it was like, wow, this is cool. I didn't know 99% of the people in Norway, but I knew Carla. It was like, oh yes, I know somebody, and they got this big award, the biggest award I think in the company, and so it was very cool. And as I sat in Oslo, guys, I looked out in the audience. There's, I don't know, roughly 3,000 people there, and the majority of it was female, and it just kind of confirmed everything I've always thought about this profession. Not that guys can't do it, okay, but you know, if you want to get a story told, go tell a bunch of ladies because they'll start telling the hairdresser and the nail shop, and everybody will know about it. And so we tested my mother. Um, her results have not come back yet, but I've got her on the oil. Um, and it's really funny. People that I have talked to, sorry for that background noise. Um, People that I've talked to about my previous business that I've now talked to about Zinzino, they're saying yes, where they said no before because it's health. And everybody wants better health. Everybody wants to make more money. So it comes down to if that's true, and we'll do a little test here real quick. In the comments, in the chat, if you believe everybody wants better health, type H. If you believe everybody wants more wealth, type W. And you can do them together. Okay? HW, health and wellness, or health and wealth. Okay, so Tom Schreider taught me, Jerry, if everybody wants better health, and we agree on that, and we all agree, and everybody would like to make more money, and we all agree, and you talk to somebody about health and wealth with Zinzino, and they say no, then the question is, what are you saying to talk them out of it? And that's where Tom Schreider has taught me for 17 years how to speak to people to not come off as a salesperson and I mean, the whole thing is discover a problem. If they want to solve the problem now, and then offer a solution. So I've always built my business on those foundational things. Do they have a problem? Okay. 53-1. I had a problem. Do I want to solve it? Absolutely. When do you want to start? Now. Here's my solution. Here's my offer. And Art told me when I started, he said, Jerry, don't sell the oil. Sell the kit. Sell the test. Well, that made perfect sense to me because if they take the test and like 99% of the people are over 3-1, they're probably going to get on the oil. I've been here since Wednesday. I've been talking to friends of mine that I play music with. They all want to take the test. It's so simple, you know. Um,
Well, so I love this, Jerry. I think it's fun because now we know you've transitioned and actually starting over again, and yet you can feel your energy. You can feel how excited you really are about Zinzino and the future.
and you
So I
here's
saw
the
even on
here's
post Facebook today, you're like, I'm so excited. I saw that today too.
now um, in the company that I'm still in, I get a very nice check. Okay. And I've always said this, that if I ever went to another company, I would not proselytize my current team. And I'm not. I'm building with people that are not involved in my other business. Because I said, if I have the skills that Tom Schreider teaches me, I should be able to build no matter what. I mean, there's a billion people on the planet or whatever, 340 million in the US. Claire, you're very welcome. And so, some people will go back to their existing team and try to get them in another company. I'm not doing that. I don't need to. Everybody wants to have better health. Everybody would like to make more money. Keep it that simple.
I love that. Well, so I'm going to ask you one last question here before we sign off, and that is, so what are you most excited about for your future here?
Um, Legacy. I think I'm 66. It's so amazing how all of this stuff has transpired. So again, I thought earlier this year, I thought I'm going to ride off in the sunset. I had a great run. We were top earners. You know, the company I was in, there were two top awards. I'm the only person that ever won those two awards. I mean, just so many great things have happened to us. But with Zinzino, I thought, I'm going to run again. This thing has got me excited. And I've proven it in the last 30 days. I mean, when we were in Oslo, I had only been in 1 week. I still don't understand the majority of stuff about Zinzino. I certainly don't know how the comp plan works. Doesn't matter. Tom Schreider said, Jerry, the more customers you get, the more money you make. The fewer customers you have, the less money you make. I get it. I came back from Oslo and I flew to Michigan to spend 8 days with my mother, who turned 86, to celebrate her birthday. And then Monica and I last week were in Dallas at a bluegrass festival. And then here we are this week here at this bluegrass festival. I think in the last 3.5 weeks, I've slept in my own bed 3 days. But while I'm traveling, having fun, enjoying life, it's easy to talk to people about health, um, and making extra money. Uh, I'm doing my first home meeting this Wednesday. I'm extremely excited about it. My doctor's going to be there. Um, we have invited a lot of people, and I, I'm truly excited about the legacy of, in my other business. If I helped you save $200 a year on a utility, that's not life changing. But if I help somebody, if they take that test and they get on that balance oil, that can be life changing.
I love it. Well, thank you so much, Jerry, for taking time out of the Bluegrass Festival to be on here and to tell us your story. I think it's exciting. I think it's inspiring. I think it's great for people who are maybe in other companies and aren't real happy with it. But like Art says, if you're happy with your company, stay in line, be with that company, and make that company great. But here, if your people are looking at Zinzino, well, maybe they would hear your story and be inspired. And even for those of us who are Zinzino partners, it was inspiring just to hear your story. So thank you for taking that time to be on here. I am going to let people unmute here. Thank you, Jerry, for being
Yeah.
on.
Marcia, thank you
Thank
for your kind
you.
words.
And
Thank
thank you,
you.
everybody, for being on.
Gracias,
Thank you.
Jerry. Thank you.
Bye-bye.
Thank you.
Thank you very
Thanks,
much.
Jerry.
Thank you.
Nice to hear your
Thank
story.
you. Yeah.
Very
Thank you,
inspiring.
Jerry.
Thanks,
Thank
Jerry.
you so
Much.
So how does this guy do? 39 out of 42,
Thanks so
but I lost
much.
about the